Okay, hello again. It's the 9th of May 2016, and this video is about what do you do if a yes-no spread, for instance, gives you the wrong answer, or generally when what's going on when the tarot seems to give you misinformation. Okay, so if you think of a yes-no spread, somebody can ask, will I marry this person? And you turn some cards, you say yes, you're going to marry them, but then it doesn't happen. The couple splits up quite soon, or at some point. So it seems that the tarot was wrong. But somebody wants to know, will I get the promotion? And you turn cards and you say, no, you're not going to get it, but the person does get the promotion. So the spread, the yes-no spread in this case, doesn't seem to work, or it's not right. And as readers, we probably want to avoid that as much as we can. And that's the problem facing us, I think, that, or in this instance, you turn cards and they don't tell the correct story. So what do we do if we're going to keep our confidence in the tarot itself, as well as keep our confidence in our own ability to read the cards that we choose? So I think that the solution is not some new technique or some new spread that we haven't heard about that's always going to give a correct answer, right? So you might think, okay, the reason I'm not getting the right answer is because I didn't have the right spread, so I better create a unique individual spread for every question. But the thing is, with a yes/no spread, or with a lot of questions that people have, all you need is one card, and if it's upright, as the reader looks at the card, the answer is yes. If it's upside down, it means no. And then you can look at, you can tell more of the story of why it's going to happen or why it's not going to happen if you look at the card itself. So let's say you get the Two of Swords upright, right? The person holding the sword, the swords across them like this. Then if you get the Two of Swords upright, then you're going to do well because you can see both sides, right? Two swords, two sides of the same situation. You can see both sides and you're not going to get distracted by either of them, right? Whereas if you get the Two of Swords reversed, then it's a no, or it's not going to work out, or you're not going to do well because you can't make up your mind, right? Or you can't see straight. At the same time, we might think the solution is we should be more psychic and never be wrong. So the thing is, we may always be right, but we have to remember that the question is about the questioner. And it's not about you, the reader. So you might know everything all the time, but you're not the one with the problem, or the one who wants an answer. So the reader, in some ways, is a messenger for the questioner, because the questioner, some part of the questioner, I think, knows what the answer is, or knows what that person's supposed to do, or the best route for that person to follow to move them in the direction in which they want to go. I think some part of the questioner knows that, and that's what you get, that's the answer that you get in a tarot spread. Right? So the reader is the messenger of what's contained, or what the person already knows. And the reader is not some separate, all-knowing forecaster, right, who's disconnected from everything. At the same time, I don't think the answer is to stop doing yes/no questions, or stop doing yes/no answers, or giving yes or no answers. Because a lot of people don't like to do yes/no, and they'll say, what we do is we change the question into, how can I improve my chances to whatever it happens to be. Right, so somebody wants to know, am I going to get married? And the reader says, okay, why don't we answer, what can you do to improve your chances of finding true love? And the questioner thinks, okay, that sounds like a good idea, so what can I do? And you choose 3 cards, and you say, do this, and do this. And the person says, okay, that was very interesting. So am I going to find true love? Right? So you've had all the answers, but they still want to know, yes or no, am I going to find true love or not? Even after they've been told what to do to make the outcome more what they're looking for. Because if you think, I mean, for you listening to this right now, I'm sure there have been times in your life when you just wanted peace of mind, or you wanted a moment of certainty that, and that moment, or the peace of mind would come if you could just know yes or no. Yes, I'm going to do well, or no, it's not going to work out. Okay, I can live with that, but at least I know what I'm dealing with. So there's nothing wrong with wanting a yes or no answer. And it doesn't mean that you're weak, or you lack power, or you lack decisiveness. And that seems to be the opinion that readers have who want the questioner to change their question to something more general about how do I improve my chances. Okay, the solution, I think, is to read what's there. You turn cards, you read what's there, and you make the best sense of it you can at the time. And you'll find that various benefits are derived from this kind of approach. So if you, the reader, talk generally about the cards that come up, and if you have a discussion with the questioner about what the cards show and what it might mean and how you would react to that particular circumstance, this can enlighten the questioner, so that the questioner makes better decisions later. Because of the discussion that you've had, they're going to make better decisions later. And they'll make better decisions later when they're on their own, right? And I think that making the questioner independent can be part of the job of the reader, so that when the questioner leaves, or when you don't see them and they're on their own, they can live their own life making good decisions by themselves. Because I think the reader is not just performing when you turn cards with a flourish and tell stories and you're dramatic, as some people are. But I think the reader really ought to be educating the questioner, right? So that, let's say somebody wants to know about promotion, you get a reversed king. So you talk about, the kings are in charge, right? So you talk about what are the qualities, the important qualities, if somebody is going to be in charge, right? So if you're going to be running things and in charge, how should you handle the situation? Or maybe you get, and the thing is that by discussing what the qualities required for a good leader, let's say, because it's a king, you can get the questioner understanding what's going to be required, and get them to realize that maybe they need to develop a bit more empathy or a bit more decisiveness, or whatever it happens to be shown by the king. Or if the king is reversed, maybe they're going to have to deal with people who learn how to react to somebody who doesn't have the qualities that a leader ought to have. Okay. So I think with a reading, it's the questioner talking to the questioner via the cards. So, and I think that's how it works with a tarot reading. So what's going on isn't always what seems to be going on. And so we have to think through the whole question of being right and wrong. And first, for the reader, do we really want to be right all the time? That's a serious question. Imagine if you were never wrong. It seems like a good idea, right? But the power could go to your head and you start believing all sorts of stuff. And do you want the responsibility of being right all the time? Because also you could get a reputation for being, for being right, and people trust you. But people can go a little bit crazy. So I can imagine a situation, let's say you get a reputation, you're always right. Somebody decides to mortgage their house, take all the money they've got, and they can say to you, okay, which team is going to win the race, or is this horse going to win the race? And you say yes, and they put all that money on a horse winning. So, you know, do you really want people to behave like that based on your say-so about what's going to happen in the future? It seems like, I mean, the general idea of being right all the time seems like a good thing, but really, when you get right down to specific examples of where it can all go wrong, or where it can be really quite stressful, do you really want it? And the other thing is that there could be particular situations with the questioner. So let's say you have a lazy student, right? And he says, will I pass the exam? And you pick cards, you say, yes, you're going to pass the exam. But the lazy student didn't make much effort because they thought they were going to pass easily or pass anyway. So they don't make any effort and they fail. So was the tarot wrong? The thing is, the questioner could have passed the exam if they'd made a little bit of an effort, but they didn't, and that's why they failed. They didn't make a decent effort. You can have the opposite as well, where you've got a lazy student who says, am I going to pass the exam? And you say, well, these cards indicate, no, you're not. So the lazy student thinks, okay, I'm going to prove that person wrong. And they go off and they do good work, they study hard, and they pass the exam. And they come back to you and they say, hey, you told me I was going to fail the exam, but I passed. So what's going on here? I think the tarot is giving the best advice at the time for the benefit of the questioner. Or rather, the questioner is giving him or herself the best advice, so they're going to learn something from the experience. So what we can do as readers, I think, is read the picture based on it being upright or reversed for yes or no, or taking you in the direction of yes or in the direction of no. So let's say let's say we get the Eight of Pentacles upright, and that means yes, but we expand on the idea of yes. So it's a yes because you work hard and you're steady and you keep at it. There are 8 pentacles there that you've been working on, and you refine your skills as you go and you make improvements, right? Because the individual pentacles are all slightly different, but with practice and repetition you get better at what it is that you do. So you're making improvements all the time. So we're looking at the picture and expanding upon what's shown in the picture, and we're educating the questioner so they can handle the actual circumstances better. Or let's say the Eight of Pentacles is reversed. So the answer is no, because you won't apply yourself enough. We've got 8 pentacles, but you're only going to make 1, right? Or you make a couple, but you're kind of bored, so you're not paying attention. So you're not going to apply yourself enough, or you're not going to apply yourself for long enough. Or you'll be half-hearted, and you'll just go through the motions of producing the pentacles, but you won't really care, and you'll become sloppy, and you want those high standards, like you would have if the card were upright. So the reader expands on the idea of being a too casual approach shown by the Eight of Pentacles reversed. So that means that the questioner can then understand where they might be defective or where they might be weak, and they can remind themselves from time to time, I'm supposed to keep paying attention and not let my attention wander, or I'm supposed to know what my standards are and make sure that I live up to them. So they because with a reading, it's up to the questioner to actually follow through on what's shown. It's their life, and what they do and how they act makes a difference later in life or after the reading, because we're not just machines. And the other thing I think we ought to remember is if we think about different situations in our own life, we know we don't always get it right or learn the lesson properly the first time. So we're learning something or we're trying something, but if we're given insight or somebody makes useful suggestions that we then implement, you're going to do it better or maybe do it correctly the next time. So the information you get from a yes-no spread can be preparing you for success in the future, but success in the end. All of which I think means that telling you yes or no and getting it apparently wrong isn't automatically a bad thing. we have to remember too, the tarot is dealing with real life. So here's a situation. Let's say it's March and you just met somebody and you really wanted to work because you've had several disappointments or failed relationships. And this person that you've just met is pretty good. It's a pretty good match. But this person isn't the right one. And you're not going to meet the right one until the end of the year. So it's March and you come for a reading and you want to know, is this the right one for me? So if I tell you, no, it's not, you could become disappointed and upset, and it could plunge you into a depression or upset. So you're not going to be ready for the real one who comes next at the end of the year. Or the reading could indicate that this present relationship will be okay. So enjoy it as much as you can, so you're going to be in better shape by the end of the year. So, because at the end of the year, that's when you're going to meet the real love. So the absolute truth, which is, no, this is not going to work out, is not what the tarot is telling you, or it's not in the forefront of the information that you're given. But maybe we see that the tarot is a bit wiser, because if you want the relationship to work with this person to work now, but the real one isn't till the end of the year, what's the tarot going to do? How do you give information to the person that they're going to be able to accept and handle and work with and bring about improvements? Because some people, if you tell them the truth, they're going to be crushed. Other people, you tell them the truth, they can handle it. So sometimes getting a yes when it turns out it's actually going to be a no is the only way or the right way to go. The other thing is, we have to remember the tarot is responding to the questioner, and sometimes people mislead you, sometimes by accident or maybe deliberately, because sometimes people don't want to know the truth even though they say they do. And some people have already made up their minds about what's going to happen or what they're going to do or what's going to work or what's going to happen. So a yes or no from the tarot is sort of irrelevant. And there will be times when that's the kind of person that you're dealing with in a reading. So is it yes or is it no? If you say yes and it turns out to be no, it's not always within your power to give the correct answer. Okay. So all in all, I think what we do is we do the best we can with the cards that come up. If we can relax and be educational for the questioner or be instructive to the questioner and give out good thoughts and useful information to the questioner, they're going to be able to make better decisions or choices in their ongoing life that's going to continue after the reading. Okay, that's it. I'm looking to do another video next weekend. I'm a day late with this one. I'm not sure what it'll be about, but there will be something, so take a look for that. If you have comments, type them down below and we'll take it from there. Okay? Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.